Hello, everybody. Welcome back to English with the Sings. I'm Mr. Singh, and today we are joined with our very lovely friend Zadok, who is going to be helping us today with some report writing. So, this is for revision, Educast GCSE English Language, Component 2, Section B, for your writing tasks where you'll have to complete two transactional or persuasive pieces of writing. This is an opportunity for you to write about reviews, speeches, letters, articles, and in this particular case, we're going to be looking at reports. Now, reports might sound like a scary word, but they're actually pretty straightforward. It's a formal piece of writing, generally speaking, and you might be familiar with what's called a Ofsted report. So schools tend to get this as a recommendation to parents, prospective parents who are looking to send their children there, parents who are existing there, to school leaders, to people who are thinking about applying to work at those schools. There's lots of reasons why this report could be useful to many people in the local area. This can give you a feel for what a report can look like. Now, of course, the only exam for your GCSE, they're not expecting you to write, reams and reams. That's not what's going to happen. About 400 words is ideal. We're looking at a page or a page and a quarter for your report. But this is just to demonstrate what a report can look like on the paper, on the page. You might notice that there's subheadings. What is it like to attend this school? You can notice that there's paragraphs. And you might notice that there's questions as well in subheadings as well. What does this school do well and what does it need to do better? So recommendations, you might notice that there is recommendations in the report as well. Um, so yeah, there's loads of things you can think about when it comes to the report form, and today we're going to just go over some of those things. I'm going to look at a model example as well. It's not the perfect finished example, but it's just one example. But let's have a look together. Let's go through this. So, report writing. The first thing you want to look at is the audience. Who is the report written for? That's a really important question that you need to be asking yourself. Is it for parents? Is it for school leaders? Who is the report actually written for? That's an important thing I want you to think about. Is there anything you need to consider when you're writing to this particular audience? What is your writing trying to achieve? For example, you may need to do at least one of the following. Maybe you need to give them some information. Maybe you need to give reports some specific details. Maybe you want to give some views, or most importantly, you might want to make some suggestions, okay? Recommendations. These are typically things you would expect to see in a report, the purpose of the report. So think about content. What are the main points you want to make in your report? Think about whether these points are clearly focused on the task that's been set. Think about whether your points are consistent and the most logical way of presenting them. Think about your register. All that basically means is what's the tone of your writing? Is it formal? Is it polite and respectful? These are things that you should take into consideration. And the format, there are some conventions that you might help you organize your report in a sensible way. You might want to, for example, have a title. This should briefly make clear the content of your report. That's a great thing to do when you're looking at report writing, to just kind of clarify what is the purpose of this report? What's the function? What's the report trying to achieve? Who is it trying to inform people of? What specifics? Think about the introduction, an opening section outlining those things, the subheadings. These can help divide the content of your report into useful sections. It can be helpful to think about what these will be a part of the planning process. Now, this is an important thing. Whenever you're given a question, particularly around transactional writing, it's so important to take 3 to 5 minutes to just plan out your ideas, think it through. The answers that are planned tend to be better than the ones that you just run into. Okay. So it's super important that you spend time practice planning. And, after you've written maybe 3 paragraphs, 3 points, you might have a conclusion, a paragraph or a section that addresses the task and considers any recommendations that you may wish to make. So, what might an introduction look like? Well, you want to make sure you give a clear introduction to establish the direction of your report. It might say something like, as a student at your school, I'm writing this report to present my views on the strengths and weaknesses of our school. So it's very straightforward, addressing the question in hand. No flowery language, very straightforward. There are many strengths to our community minded school, and these are well known and will be easy to list. This report will also consider a few areas which could be strengthened, focusing primarily on the dated school environment and poor state of some of the older buildings. So, instantly, the introduction is telling us what some of the critiques are going to be, what some of the things of recommendations are going to be. And this will also recommend ways in which these weaknesses could be improved in the near future. So, it's just kind of setting out the purpose of the report. You might have some interesting conclusions as well. Your conclusion should revisit the task and give an overview of the possible suggestions and recommendations. You might say, "Thank you for reading this report. I hope that the information contained here will provide evidence of the many strengths our school has to offer. The main weaknesses that need to be addressed are connected with our working environment. With some careful planning and reprioritizing of funding, I hope that some of the more significant issues, such as safety concerns with the mobile classroom, can be quickly resolved." So you can see how it's outlining an issue and a recommendation for change. Now, this is a good opportunity for you to pause the video. There are three questions, three types of reports that you might want to write about. I want you to pause the video, think about which one you're interested in, and begin planning it. I'm going to pick one of these and I'm going to show you a model example, and then you can reflect on your work and then go from there. Pause the video now. Okay, welcome back. So, um, you might think of let's think about this question over here. The governors who run your school college are interested in the views of your pupils about the strengths and weaknesses of the college or school college. Give examples of strengths and weaknesses of the school college, and your ideas about the school college could be improved. So you might make a list of some of the strengths of your school. You might say they have the Duke of Edinburgh Award. You might say they do school trips. They might do a ski trip. You might say that your school has a really good sports day. They do charitable events. You might say they have really good drama facilities, and they do annual plays. Maybe we have the amazing sixth form reviews and performances, and you might say there might be some really fun quizzes and things to get involved in, clubs. You might make a list of some weaknesses of your school. So you might say perhaps the cafeteria, the food in the food hall isn't as nutritious as it could be. You might say the prices are a bit unaffordable and maybe they need to be reevaluated. The catering team, you might say that there's more green spaces, opportunities for students to, um, you know, uh, embrace their well-being, maybe places for them to relax and calm down, maybe a school therapist. These could be ideas that you might want to make recommendations for. How could you improve the weaknesses in your school? Maybe you might make recommendations about those things, how they can go about doing those things. Maybe investing some money doing, bake sales, moving that money towards how they can make the school life better. Who's the audience for? Is it written for the governors, perhaps? Is it written to the head teacher? Is it written to school leaders? What's the tone? It's hopefully going to be professional and kind and polite. So this is clearly written to the governors. So you're writing to the governors to give your views on that question. Think about the points you're trying to make. This is when you're planning for about 3 to 5 minutes. Think about how you're going to develop those points in an appropriate way. Think about your audience being the governors. Remember, it's not all going to be terrible. Think about the positives. Think about your tone being professional and kind. What layout features will you be using? Hopefully, subheadings. Maybe you're going to put recommendations in there. Maybe you're going to have a conclusion, an introduction, and how will you order these ideas? Think about those things if you have picked this question. So that's just an example of what you might do for planning. We've had a look at introductions and conclusions. You might notice here, look, there's your title, subheadings are there. That's really good. And this is also a simple plan as well. You could find this resource available on the Educast website, but it just shows you how you have an intro, what the report's about, what's it going to show, strengths, weaknesses, more weaknesses perhaps, and a conclusion. Very straightforward. Remember, title, subheadings, focusing on the question is key. Okay, I think we should look at a model example and we should see what we think about it. Let's give it a read together. And then, like I said, I want you to go back to one of those three questions and I want you to give it a go. So, this is a report on improving the local area. Specifically, we're going to look at Bath, England. So, this is improvements needed in Bath for young people. Notice how it's the title's at the top. We also have an introduction. Let's read it together. This report has been written to highlight the key areas in Bath that require improvement. Very straightforward, particularly from the perspective of young residents. While Bath is a historic and beautiful city, several practical concerns affect the daily lives of its younger population. The issues outlined below reflect common experiences and offer constructive suggestions for change. This is a fantastic introduction, very straightforward, there's no flowery language, it's very focused on the task. Subheading over here, public transport and connectivity. One major concern in Bath is the reliability and affordability of public transport. Buses serving areas such as Oldfield Park, is a proper noun there, Twerton and Odd Down, are often delayed or overcrowded, particularly during school hours. This is an issue. Furthermore, many young people feel that bus fares are too expensive, especially for short journeys. So you can see there's a critique there. Now, it mentions a recommendation. You could say here, this report recommends introducing discounted travel passes for under 18s and students, and increase the frequency of buses on busy routes at key times to reduce congestion and improve punctuality. Notice the ambitious vocabulary as well. Youth spaces and activities, you got a subheading there. Despite Bath's rich cultural heritage, there are limited affordable recreational spaces. Once again, really ambitious vocabulary and activities specifically aimed at teenagers. Youth clubs are scarce, and leisure options such as the cinema or cafes in the city centres are often too expensive. As a result, some young people feel there is nowhere safe or affordable to spend time outside of school hours. Once again, you could say this report recommends allocating funds for the development of community youth centres and support free or low cost sports and arts programmes in local neighbourhoods, particularly in the South Down and Western areas. Once again, proper nouns, showing that your report comes across as really professional and real. Another subheading, environmental cleanliness and green spaces. Although Bath boasts beautiful parks, including Royal Victoria Park, once again a proper noun, and Sydney Gardens, there are concerns about littering and vandalism in some areas. Public bins often overflow, and damaged equipment in play areas is left unrepaired. So this is a critique again. You could say this report recommends increasing the frequency of bin collection in high traffic areas and partners with local schools and youth groups to organise community cleanup events and environmental awareness campaigns. You might have a fourth recommendation or a critique. You might say there is a growing concern about the limited access to mental health services for young people. Um, where else in Bath, school-based counselling services are overstretched and many students are unsure where else to seek help. This is quite a topical issue in society at the moment. You might want to include this here for a report about critiquing society, local areas. The recommendation here from this report is to expand funding for in-school counselling provision and promote awareness of external services such as off the record to ensure young people can access support promptly and confidently. And your report should have a conclusion. So keep an eye on the time during the exam time. Bath is a vibrant city with great potential, but there are clear opportunities for improvement. By addressing the issues of transport, youth engagement, environmental maintenance, and mental health support, the local council can make Bath a more inclusive, safe, and supportive city for its young people. So this is just a example of what a report might look like. It's not perfect, but it's just a brief overview. Zadok seems like he's really happy with it, which is always a good sign. And I would recommend that you give it a go. Have a look at those free prompts, and I want you to try and write your own report. Remember, practice makes perfect. The only way you're going to be well equipped and prepared is by giving it a shot. Um, if you did find this video really helpful, please do make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. And leave any comments that you've got in the below of the YouTube video. We are always happy to reply and give help. We wish you the best of luck and try your best. Take care. Bye bye.